Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today I am so excited to share my absolute favorite beauty products from April. The makeup, skincare, and hair care that truly stood out for me. Now, April was a bit of a rough month. Not only did I battle with some intense allergies, think red nose and puffy eyes, but I also had a few quick work trips. So you will get to see some skincare products that were my staples during allergy flare-ups and some makeup products that became my travel companions. Let's get started. Let's start with some skincare products. I have been using the Pyunkang 80 Intensive Soothing Mist for years, and there's a reason why. Whether I'm battling with allergies or an eczema flare up, or if a new product just doesn't agree with my skin and leaves it feeling all sensitive, this mist always comes to the rescue. It's just an incredibly calming and soothing, and it really takes down that redness and that tight, uncomfortable feeling. I use this after cleansing my face as a toner, followed by a serum or a moisturizer, whatever I feel like using that day. I love it. Next, I wanted to shout out to the Skin 1004 Centella Ampoule. This is another one of those products that has earned a permanent spot in my collection. This is my go to, especially on days when I use exfoliants like AHA, BHA, or retinol. It doesn't have flashy ingredients or fancy packaging. This, to me, is a no nonsense product that is good at hydrating and calming my skin. It has a lightweight, watery texture. So, even if you're oily or you live somewhere super humid, you will love how it feels. Just pure soothing hydration. And the last skincare item I wanted to share is the HARU Centella and Peptide Concentrate Cream. You guys know I adore this. It has a thick, velvety texture, which my dry skin just drinks up. What's amazing is that it's rich without feeling heavy. So I've been using it day and night. And it also came with me during my travel. Not only did it keep my skin perfectly hydrated on the go, but it also played so well under my sunscreen and makeup. No pilling, no stickiness, just a beautiful, natural finish. I think if you ever struggle with those flaky, rough patches, it smooths them out so effectively that applying makeup becomes so easy. It's so good. Moving on, I have two hair care items I wanted to share. First is the Color Wow Mini Mask. I repurchased this during the Sephora VIB sale, and it is like a spa treatment in a jar for my hair. Whenever my hair looks a little dull and feels lifeless, this is what I reach for. It injects such an incredible amount of shine and hydration without weighing down my hair. I usually use this in place of my regular conditioner or hair mask about once a week. And honestly, the shine I get from it lasts for a good 1 to 2 days, which is pretty amazing. The last haircare product I'm really enjoying and using consistently since I got is the Divi Scalp Serum. I picked this as my birthday gift from Ulta, and I have been using it since last 4 weeks. Now I know 4 weeks isn't a super long time to really judge the full impact of a haircare product, but honestly, so far I'm really impressed with this one. One of the first thing I notice is this really nice tingling sensation when I massage it into my scalp. I know that might sound a little strange, but I actually find it quite enjoyable. It wakes up my scalp. Plus, it has this lovely minty fragrance that I really enjoy. What I also love is the consistency. It's so lightweight, almost like a thin gel. It spreads so easily and doesn't feel heavy or greasy at all on my scalp. This serum contains ingredients like caffeine and rosemary, and it is supposed to help with thinning hair and also tackle product and oil buildup. Now, it's still early days for me to say if it's completely stopped any hair fall or made my hair noticeably thicker or stronger. But I have definitely noticed a difference in how long my scalp stays fresh. Usually, my hair starts to feel oily after about 2 days. But since incorporating this serum, I can go much longer without that greasy feeling. I'm really excited to continue using it and see what other benefits it brings. Alright, now let's talk about some makeup favorites. And the first up is the Huda Beauty Color Corrector in the shade Mango. Whenever I have those under eye circles that make me look like I haven't slept in days, those deep, almost bluish purple ones? This is the kind of deep orange color corrector that I reach for. And I genuinely enjoy the formula. It's so lightweight and plays beautifully with all the concealers I own without feeling heavy or cakey. However, the packaging, oh my god, it leaks so bad. This color corrector leaked in my travel bag and stained pretty much all the other makeup products. I'm not sure if this type of packaging just isn't travel friendly or if this is a consistent issue with this product. But even since I am back home, it's constantly leaking no matter how I store it. I have put it in a little Ziploc bag for now, but let me know, guys, if you have any tips for me or if you have faced similar problems with this product. If this is a widespread issue, it might be a deal breaker for repurchasing, which is a shame because the product itself is great. Anyways, I have been wearing the Lancome Tint Idol Full Coverage Concealer a lot this month. It pairs beautifully with that Huda Beauty color corrector we just talked about. When I was working from home or running errands and I wanted a little something but not a full face, this concealer was my absolute go to. Just a touch under my eyes and around my nose to tackle any darkness and redness, and it does such an incredible job at concealing without feeling heavy or cakey at all. It has this natural finish on the skin, and the texture is like a thin cream, not thick or gloopy in the slightest, which makes it easy to blend, especially if you have dry skin. I like to set it with just a tiny bit of powder to make sure it lasts all day without creasing, and it didn't disappoint. Speaking of the setting powder, I took this Charlotte Tilbury Soulmates palette in the shade Flawless Pink on my travels because I knew I would be reaching for that airbrushed flawless finish setting powder a lot. And I was absolutely right. So glad I picked it up. What I love about this pink powder is that it's not a bright, in your face pink at all. It's more of a muted pink, and it doesn't have that white base pigment that can sometimes cause issues. In fact, it's got this almost translucent quality to it, which means I don't get a white cast or ashiness on my skin tone. Instead, it gives this lovely, subtle brightening effect. If you have a fair or light complexion, this powder is not going to only add brightening effect, but it will also help to counteract any sallowness you might be experiencing. I also enjoy the blush in this palette. It adds a natural looking rosy flush. The pigmentation is that sweet spot in the middle, noticeable but easy to build, and the matte finish is just gorgeous. The other palette that came along on my travel and got a ton of use in April was the Westman Atelier Powder Blush Duo in Sable and Suede. Now, I don't have a super strong tan going on right now, so I have been using the shade Suede almost like a bronzer to add some lovely definition to my face. Then, depending on my mood, I will either pop Sable on the apples of my cheeks as a blush, or I will reach for that beautiful pink in the Charlotte Tilbury palette. Honestly, these two palettes were all I needed to give me blush options, a setting powder, and a bronzer. Talk about efficient packaging. Oh, and a little spoiler alert. I have been working on a powder blush showdown video where I will be comparing a lot of new powder blushes with what I already have in my collection, including some of the ones I just mentioned. So make sure you're subscribed to my channel and have those notifications turned on so you don't miss it. And the last blush I wanted to share today is the Merit Flush Balm in the shade Rouge. As you guys know, I have been battling with spring allergies, which means a bit of a redness around the nose. So instead of completely concealing all that redness, I've been using this blush on my cheeks and even a little bit on the bridge of my nose, which somehow makes the redness from my allergies look less stark and more like a natural, healthy flush. It's like, oh, she's just naturally a little flushed and beautiful? It really helps to draw the attention away from that concentrated redness and makes everything look more cohesive. I also adore the dewy finish of this balm. It just melts into the skin and gives such a fresh, healthy glow. I get a good 7 to 8 hours of wear out of it, which is fantastic. And if you have ever been a little intimidated by red blush, I know it can seem scary. The root shade from Merit is perfect because it's not super bold. It shears out beautifully so you can build up the intensity as much or as little as you like. Alright, let's move on to base products. And I have been really enjoying the Dior Forever Glow Star Filter. Now, I've found that my sweet spot for using this is actually mixed in with my foundation or tinted moisturizer, rather than applying it as a primer. When I mix it in, it still gives my skin this beautiful, healthy glow, but it's definitely more subtle than when I use it as a dedicated glowy primer. Actually, if you're going for that dewy, luminous look, using it as a primer is definitely the way to go. But if you prefer a more understated glow, like I do, especially on days when my skin isn't feeling its absolute best, mixing it with foundation is perfect. It gives me that touch of radiance to look alive and refreshed without being so glowy that it starts to highlight any texture I might have going on. Now, a lot of people rave about how hydrating this is, and honestly, on my dry skin, I don't really get that feeling. I don't notice a significant boost in hydration from it. However, it does work really well with my skin overall, so I still love using it for that subtle luminosity. But if you have dry skin like mine, definitely make sure your skin is well hydrated with your skincare routine before you reach for this product. Moving on to the foundations, it's been a toss up between the Dior Forever Hydra Nude Foundation and the Givenchy Prism Leap Glow Serum Foundation. You know, I find these two to be quite comparable in a lot of ways. They both have that lovely serum like consistency that feels so lightweight on the skin. Givenchy is a tad more fluid compared to the Dior, but they both settle into this beautiful, natural skin like finish. There is a subtle radiance they impart, but neither one is what I would call a super glowy or dewy foundation on its own. The main difference for me really comes down to the coverage. The Dior foundation is definitely on the lighter side. It really acts like a skin tint, providing a very natural, minimal coverage. On the other hand, the Givenchy offers a solid medium coverage right off the bat, and you can even build it up to almost full coverage if you need it. Plus, the Givenchy has this amazing blurring effect that I absolutely adore. It just makes my skin look so smooth. What I love about both of these is how hydrating they feel on the skin without ever feeling heavy or cakey. They just melt in and feel so comfortable to wear all day. If you're curious about a more in depth comparison of these two foundations, because I know they're both quite popular, I will link a detailed breakdown video for you guys down in the description box. So be sure to check that out if you want to know all the nitty gritty details. Moving on, I have quite a few lip products to share. I have been reaching for a lot of lip balms and lip oils kind of products this past month. First up is the Guerlain Kiss Kiss Bee Glow Lip Oil in the shade Honey Glow. You guys, this is hands down one of the most luxurious and comforting lip oils I own. The texture is so plush and feels incredible on the lips. I absolutely love the intense shine it gives without feeling sticky or tacky in the slightest. However, this shade, Honey Glow, is described as a natural beige, but on my lips, it definitely pulls more vibrant pink. It's subtle for sure, but it's undeniably pink, not beige. I've also noticed that this leaves a lovely stain on my lips once the lip oil completely wears off, which I really like. This is hydrating, super nourishing, and surprisingly, it lasts longer on my lips than most of the other lip oils in my collection. It's a real treat. Next up is the new YSL lip oil gloss in the shade 44. I have mixed feelings about this, and I don't think the formula is going to be for everyone. The first thing I noticed upon application is a pretty noticeable tingle, and that sensation actually lasts for a good 4 to 5 minutes. Personally, I'm not sensitive to it, but I also find it kind of useless. It doesn't seem to do anything in terms of plumping my lips, which is often the point of a plumping, tingly lip product, right? It has this distinct peppery scent when you first apply it, which thankfully fades away within a few minutes, so it doesn't bother me too much. The biggest reason why I have been reaching for this consistently despite those issues is the shade itself. I love this mauvish pink. It looks so beautiful on my complexion and it's just perfect for that fresh spring and summer vibe. So while the formula has its drawback, the color alone has won me over for the season. Now, when I'm in a mood for more color and want my lips to be the star of the show without going for anything too bold, I have been reaching for the Rouge Hermes Silky Lipstick Shine in the shade number 83 Brilliant Rouge Brick. This isn't your typical fire engine red. In fact, I would describe this as a beautiful terracotta red. And what I really appreciate is that it doesn't lean too warm. Instead, it has a little bit of earthiness to it, which gives it such a modern and sophisticated feel. The formula is beautiful. It's not super glossy or overly shiny, but it has this really elegant, subtle sheen. So, that boldness in the color combined with the translucent quality of the formula and that understated sheen makes this red look so incredibly chic on the lips. I also like that it doesn't transfer as much. I can easily get 5 to 6 hours of wear without feeling the need to constantly reapply. The component itself, with its magnetic closure, just feels so luxurious. I love it. Yes, at $77, it's very expensive. But this is one of those luxury items that I truly know I will treasure in my collection for a long time. And the last lip product I wanted to talk about is the Sarah Serum Lip Balms. I already have the shade Thriving in my collection, and I picked up the shade Energetic during the Sephora sale. Compared to the Rouge Hermes lipstick we just talked about, this one is much more sheer and has a slightly glossier finish. It is a tinted serum lip balm, and that's spot on. It's not thick and goopy like some balms, but it is not super thin or runny either. It's that perfect in between texture that I really appreciate. I love how incredibly nourishing and hydrating it feels on the lips. Now, it doesn't have the same staying power as the Hermes lipstick. I get about 2 to 3 hours of wear from it. But because it is so sheer, it's incredibly easy to reapply throughout the day without needing a mirror or worrying about it looking patchy. It adds a perfect wash of subtle color and a boost of hydration whenever my lips need a little pick me up. So, that's a wrap on my April beauty favorites. I hope you found these mini reviews helpful. I always have so much fun sharing these kinds of quick reviews because it's a chance to chat about everything from skincare to makeup and beyond. Let me know what do you think of these products down in the comments. If you're not already part of the family, I would love for you to stick around for more beauty content and good vibes. Hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you are always in the loop. Wishing you all the best. Stay healthy, stay beautiful, stay safe wherever you are in the world. Bye for now.